Right, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're having a wonderful day. Right, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Great to have everybody here. Thank you so much, Ibos. Thank you so very much for the likes. And also to Yemo. Thank you very, very much. It's Wednesday, so we're going to record. We're not coming on camera, so I would ask that you please power tap, just like Ibos is doing, and I really appreciate it. Please power tap on TikTok and kindly share the live as well. Also, click on the heart icon just above my picture there and join the team. If you're already a member, please drop your heart to me. Let's drop some gifts. These things help push the live to the FYP, particularly when we're not on camera. I mean, we need it every time anyway, but thank you very much for your support. For folks on YouTube and on Facebook, lovely to have you join us. Good evening. It's a lovely, lovely Wednesday evening. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for being here. Like we said the other day, we do have the sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. if you're at time West African time. We've been listening to music and having fun, but now we're about to get into the conversation. And we also said that on Mondays and Thursdays we'll be on camera to read and all of those things. But on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we'll have replays. And sometimes the replays are not. It's not. How do I put it now? It's not like you just listen to something that is all back on. The way they are presented will be different from the original one. Sometimes you say things in passing, and then on a day like this, you concentrate on that particular topic, which is what we're doing today. A video trended last week, right? And it was all about, Ibos were not included in a particular history book, and how people were complaining essentially. I mean, it's not new, but it happens, right? So that happened as well, and people were complaining about it, and I decided to look into the matter, and I found out some things. I thought I was going to share it, and we did that day. But I think it's also important for us to listen to it together. However, there'll be a little twist to it today. And here's the twist. So after the video went up on YouTube, on Facebook, rather than folks actually being serious about their own history and origin, they decided to insult, and the ones who could help themselves started claiming, they are from Henry, and then they say, so how about Henry this, Henry that? And by the way, the conversation, once we get into it, you're going to understand what this is all about. It's about the fact that a particular book was published, somebody had seen it, and they didn't mention Igbo in a particular section of the book, and the person was just throwing tantrums. But it makes no sense, right? Because that particular section was about ancient, kingdoms and city-states, and Igbos had none. And for me, I don't even think it's a problem. There are certain things that we also don't have as Yoruba people, or that Hausa people don't have, in our past. And it's in the past, right? You don't go back and try to tell everybody to change the history just to make you feel better. But I guess we think differently, and that of course is shown in the way we have conversations like this. So because of the feedback, there's another video I'm going to be playing, and it's the many Igbo origin stories. We did it here a while back. So once this is done, I'm going to play that one as well, and then you will now ask yourself, how exactly do you place this history? And I'm going to say this: I went out of my way to get as many books on Igbo history as possible, not because I wanted to say, oh, you don't have history. No, I don't like that, but because I wanted to understand the other group. Boy, let's just say it is well with the things that we discovered. I don't like talking about it until there is need. I don't think there is need yet. But for today, we're going to listen to their own elders discuss the origin story or stories and how they are connected to different parts of the world. But we're going to begin with the book in question, that doesn't have, Igbo history, which has become the main focus of conversation. By the way, the Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education, has also weighed in on the matter, and they've said the book is not even, approved for schools. But the point is that what they're even arguing about is absolutely ridiculous, because it's not that the book doesn't mention Ibos. The book actually does mention Igbo. It's just that section that has to do with kingdoms and city-states and all of those things, they did not mention Ibos because there's no way to mention Ibos. When I was in high school, when I was in secondary school, we did history, and we only taught about Oyo Empire and Kanem-Borno Empire. Nobody went into details about the other places, because that's the most recent empires in consciousness, like Nigerian consciousness or memory. So it makes sense that they will do that. I just don't know why people are. I think I know why, but we'll talk about that after the video. So let's power tap and share the live as we get into this very fascinating conversation. Like I said, we're going to be listening to two different recordings. One is why Igbos were not included in the history book, and then the other one is the many Igbo origin stories and the growing Yoruba obsession. So we'll tie the two together at the end, but I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Okay, so let's start by reading the description, and then we can get into this. There's growing pushback over a history book in Nigeria. The complaint is familiar. Why were the Igbos not included? The answer is simple and uncomfortable for some. Igbo society did not operate with kings or centralized kingdoms. Asking for inclusion in that context is an attempt to rewrite history rather than understand it. You cannot force presence where the structure never existed. History is not an insult. It is a record. The healthier path is to accept the past, stop turning absence into grievance, and focus on building today what can become tomorrow's history. That's better than tantrums and recycled victimhood. After all, even the saying reminds us, Igbo enweze. By the way, Igbos are very proud of that saying. We have no kings, we have no leaders. But when they are not saying that, they want to talk about people that have kings and leaders. Why are you not putting us there? That means that you are victimizing, you're marginalizing us. There is something fundamentally wrong somewhere, but we'll get there. I hope everybody's, okay eventually. Anyway, let's get started with this very first video. But before we get into it, please, wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, or on TikTok, please power tap. Let's like the live. Let's share the live. You're going to have a great time. But let's make sure that we keep the live going. Okay? Thank you very much. Here's why Igbos were not included in the history book. Enjoy. Man who went online to say that the gentleman who went online to say that a certain group of people don't have sense. I don't think it's right what he said, but I think we should listen to what he had to say. Take a listen, please.
Igbos are the most worthless tribe in Nigeria. Yeah, you heard it. Ibos are the most worthless tribe in Nigeria. Get angry all you like, but they are just all mouth and no depth, just mouth. Because if they are not, why should this be happening in Nigeria right now? Why should this be happening? You know how they told us that they removed history from the Nigerian curriculum because they didn't want sentiments, because of the war, the civil war. But history just got reintroduced to the Nigerian educational system. And guess what? Guess what they put inside here? See, before now, my son came and asked me, I said, Dad, I thought Ibos were the third biggest tribe in Nigeria. I said, yes. He said, how come there is no Igbo in their history book? I was shocked. I took their book and I looked at it. All the history of all the major tribes in Nigeria. We have the Hausa state, Kanuri Empire, Nupe, Igala, Yorubas, Bini Kingdom, Efik, Niger Delta, and Shekiri. No Igbo. For a tribe that has almost 5 to 6 states in Nigeria. No Igbo whatsoever. The painful part of it is that, you see this Efik here? No, I bet, Efik people no vessel. But see this Efik here? Then put them on purpose. It was put here on purpose to let the Igbos know that we know what we are doing and we are worthless. I don't want to talk about the people that wrote the book, But this is the junior secondary school revised. This is the junior secondary school JS1. The fun part is that our biggest flex as Ibos, just two things: to build houses and paint them white, so we can show them every December on Twitter, on social media, and of course, name our children Jewish names. Rubbish.
I don't agree with the fact that Ibos are worthless. I don't even think you should have used that word. But I think that there's this thing I've noticed from the Southeast particularly, and people do it in Yoruba land as well. To be a good propagandist, you have to do that thing. It is negative messaging. You curse people out and insult them in order to rile them up to get them to do a particular thing. Now, they can't use it very well, and it was very effective. The only downside to that style of messaging is that it destroys people's self-esteem. It makes them feel inferior. You would get what you want in terms of riling them up, but you are destroying something in them by saying things like they are worthless. So I don't think Igbos are worthless. I don't think anybody should talk like that to any group of people. So I think it's wrong. Having said that, there's a particular thing he said that I'll see if I can find you that part before I respond. Okay, take a listen to this thing, please, so that you see where I want to get into the conversation. Take a listen.
My son came and asked me, I said, Dad, I thought Ibos were the third biggest tribe. I was shocked. I took their book and I looked at it. All the history of all the major tribes in Nigeria. We have the Hausa state, Kanuri Empire, Nupe, Igala, Yorubas, Bini Kingdom, Efik, Niger Delta, and Shekiri. No Igbo. For a tribe that has almost 5 to 6 states in Nigeria. No Igbo whatsoever.
There cannot be Igbo. It is not conversation about how many states do you have. If you listen very closely, they are referring to, he said Hausa states. There were 7 Hausa city states, and then you had the Bokoy and so on and so forth. But that's not the point. You have the Yoruba kingdoms. You had, Efik. They also had monarchies and stuff. You didn't have. Let me read to you what I wrote on Twitter before I say what I want to say. I say here, don't call Ibos worthless. Be careful what you wish for. What you will find in that era of your history may make you feel even worse. While others built kingdoms and empires, your forebears did not because they could not. History is not about quota system or federal character. We can't go back in time to change the past just to make you feel comfortable. You did not have an era of kings, conquerors, kingdoms, or empires, and that's fine. Igbo Enweze. This reminds you that we are not all the same in Nigeria. We have different histories and realities, which explains why we act the way we do. Understand that the past is set in stone. Your best bet is to do the right things today so you can build a better future. If you continue on this path of victimhood, your grandchildren may find themselves in the same situation. Evolve. So here's the point. If they are talking about groups that had kingdoms and empires and royalty and stuff like that, they cannot call Igbos. It's not because of marginalization, it's because your history doesn't have that part of that kind of thing in it. And it's not a problem. You don't have it, you don't have it. Like, I don't even understand all this. And this is what you get when you raise people to be victims. When you hear quota system, federal character, you think of the North, and you are right to think of the North because they require that, especially in education and things like that. But the East also takes advantage of quota system a lot. There are things you say, oh, this thing happened in Yoruba land, but Igbos also have it. You are trying to make it look as if it exists here, it must also exist here in order to be balanced. But that's nonsense. There are things the Hausas have that Yoruba people we did not do. There are things that we do that we did, since we're discussing history, that the Kanuri people don't have memory of. We don't all have to be at the same level to feel that we are one. Minister of Education said later, but let me just start by saying this. We have to be very careful. If the topic is about the past and the kingdoms that people built, you cannot have any story in that place because you did not build any kingdom. Let me read something to you from Anthony Naoro's speech. He said, of the three most populous ethnic groups of Nigeria, therefore, Hausa, Fulani, Ibos, and Yorubas, only the Ibos never had an organized state, an imperial past, or a golden age. They had not centralized political administration or loyalties, and never had an era of kings, dukes, or conquerors. You never had it. Like, it's not... It doesn't mean you are worthless. It just means that you can't find it in your history. Then you go to where you've... In fact, let me go back to the beginning of this thing. It says, although Nigeria... By the way, this is from 12th August 1968 speech by Anthony Naoro. And you find this in Crisis and Conflict in Nigeria, okay? By A.H.M. Green. So this is what Naoro said. Although Nigeria was the creation of European ambitions and rivalries, its peoples had their own ancient history before the arrival of the colonizers. This newly created country contained not just a multiplicity of pagan tribes, but a number of great kingdoms which had evolved complex systems of government, independent of contact with Europe. Within its frontiers were the great kingdom of Borno, with a known history of more than 1,000 years, the Fulani Empire, which had existed for 100 years before its conquest by Britain, the Benin Empire, stretching at its zenith from the east of the Niger and to well beyond Nigeria's western borders, the Yoruba Empire of Oyo, which had once been one of the most powerful of the states of the Guinea Coast, the kingdoms of the Niger Delta and Calabar, the loosely organized Igbo peoples in the hinterland of the former eastern region, and the dukedoms and small tribes of the plateau. Of the three most populous ethnic groups of Nigeria, therefore, Hausa, Fulanis, Ibos, Yorubas, only the Ibos never had an organized state, an imperial past, or a golden age. They had not centralized political administration or loyalties and never had an era of kings, dukes, or conquerors. What's it telling you? If we want to discuss how many ethnicities have states, they will say, oh, Hausa has many states. Ibos have this many states, Yorubas have this many states, Efik, that's a state skinny. You cannot say because you have 5 states, therefore you have to go back into the past and go and change your history to make you feel comfortable. That's nonsense. And here's the crazy part. This one has children. It was his child that brought that thing to him and say, oh, sure, we are one of the major ethnic groups in Nigeria. How come our history is not here when they're discussing, ethnic dukes and kingdoms and Yoruba state, Hausa state? What a knowledgeable parent would have said is that this particular thing they're discussing here, it doesn't concern our ethnicity. We didn't do it. And to be honest, I don't think it's a problem. You did not do it. And that's okay. So you will now tell the child what you did. How you had loosely organized communities, how you had, what's that thing they call it? Autonomous communities, right? For the most part, you didn't have anything like, that's why you have the saying, Igbo enweze, Igbos have no kings. It's a statement that you're very proud of. Why do you now want to change history to, that they're not mentioning it does not mean that you are less. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, so it doesn't look like I'm throwing jabs. If you tell me, if you say, for instance, that in Yoruba history, if you say to me that we did not have cavalry until Oyo, we had horses, but cavalry, like when you have just many guys in that particular section of your army until Oyo, it's like saying, okay, if you go back like 1,000 or 2,000 years ago in Ife, that there were soldiers, but we didn't have the cavalry. If we had horse riders who were fighting, they were not as many as Oyo. If you say that to me as an Ife person, it's true. That's the point. Like, it happened. And even the cavalry that Oyo had, Oyo did not have it until after they were conquered by Nupe and then trained by Nupe, and then they got that thing from Nupe and were able to eventually conquer Nupe themselves. That's it. That's history. It doesn't mean that if I now say that Nupe conquered Oyo at the time, as a Yoruba man, I will not be angry and say, why are you talking about it? Why are you saying like we are conquered? We also conquered them. The point is that history is what it is. You don't go back in time to make yourself feel comfortable in the present. That's not how life works. If you didn't have it at the time, you did not have it. And I should add this, right? The closest that you could say, okay, people that are Ibos actually are the king, the closest was Onitsha. And up until recently, when I say recently, less than 80 years ago, up until recently, the Onitsha people did not consider themselves to be Igbo. That superiority you see in Anambra State today is actually from Onitsha. If you read Among the Ibos by G.T. Basden, it was published in 1921. That's what I said until about 80 years ago. It was even after the rise of Azikiwe that all this thing became all of us are Igbo. Even in the 1960s, there was a clash between Onitsha Igbo and the other Igbos. You find that in the book by the book called IUL Collections, right, where they talked about the whole issue with Igbo National Caucus. If you read G.T. Basden's book, the Onitsha man says that everybody to the west was Enoani. Those to the east were Ibos. That's what they said. They never considered themselves Ibos. And even their royalty till tomorrow, they'll connect it to Benin. And that's the only thing they're trying to use to connect to Ife. But it's to Benin that they always connect their royalty to. All right? Because the Obi, say he has Kineko from Benin, another story. But you get the point. Which means that that's the closest you have to monarchy. You didn't have towns. You had, you shall know I'm not insulting, Abi. You didn't have towns. It's like if you tell me now that, oh, Yoruba people, we didn't build with, I remember what I just have said earlier. If you tell me now that Yoruba people did not build with concrete before the colonial era, and I now start throwing tantrums, there's something wrong. Oh, you're Yoruba man. Are you sure you're Yoruba? Yes, you're Yoruba. Oh, you did this. Okay, you didn't build anything like the Colosseum in Rome. And I start getting angry. Of course, we didn't build anything like the Colosseum. But guess what? We built walls. Or the ones in Ife. Do you have that kind of thing? You talk about the ones that you also have. You won't say the ones you have, oh, I must also have it because I want to make a point that we are all the same. We are not the same. If the first town in Igbo land was created by the British, and I'm not throwing stones, I'm just trying to make a point. If the first town, and it was, by the way, the first Igbo town was created by the British, it's called Enugu. It was created in the 20th century. This last century, just a little over 100 years ago, that was when they created that town on Port Harcourt. So it's not like ancient. If that's which means that there was never a time where you were together in order to now have an identity. Even the identity, common Igbo identity was given by the British. People say they want to discuss history. If we really discuss this history, I'm wondering if they will not feel worse than they are feeling now. Because it doesn't, if you approach it from a place of, let's just talk about history. I'll give an example. Sometimes I do this a lot. I just like it. Say I'm reading something about Yoruba history, Ife history, like something ancient. I have this very funny habit of studying, when I'm studying Yoruba Ife, of studying Chinese and English history for some reason, and sometimes Rome. I like doing it a lot. I like to find comparisons, but I don't force, sameness. I just want to know, when these people were doing this in 9th century AD, what were my fathers doing? You get the point? So I'll say, let me give you an example. When the Germanic tribes, when they were invading England, what were my fathers doing in the 9th century? And then I see what they were doing. I feel proud because I can tell I know what they were doing. By the way, I know what they were doing, right? They were also building cities. At that time, they already created confederacy in Ife. Okay, they were wise enough to know that you could not survive as autonomous communities. So they came up with an idea that all these small communities will maintain their autonomy, but they are going to become a confederacy so that all their heads will have one single head. It is not the head of the town, but is the head of the kings. They created a confederacy, and that thing ran for years. Okay, where the oldest amongst them was the leader. The first one in Ife was Oranfe. The last one was Obatala. Oduduwa was the one that changed the game by uniting everybody and creating a city with a political structure that was different from what we had before. So when you read English history or British history, English history, Roman history, Chinese history, and you read Yoruba history, there's a lot of pride that you get. But you're not trying to say, oh, we also invaded looking for boats and we came in through the ship coming from River Niger. Just trying to become like the English makes no sense. So if you really want to know, history is not, let me show you what's beautiful. It's showing different things. For instance, we're discussing Awo on trial today. I'm going to tell you something today. I don't usually say it. I cried when I was studying for this particular series. Because I don't know how a man could go through that kind of thing. It was a terrible event. It was a terrible period of it. I found myself, I was opening books and studying and crying. And I don't know why I'm even saying it. It's just to tell you that history is not always pretty. So if you really are interested in history, you find things that will make you very sad. But the question is, what are you going to get out of? What are you going to take out of it? Are you going to just throw tantrums and say, all of you recognize me? Or are you going to say, okay, see what my father did wrong here. This is what we should have done. We'll make sure it's better in our generation. That's how you react to history. Not telling people that, oh, you are worthless because they've changed your history. Nobody changed your history. They just could not mention you because you didn't exist in that particular space. And it's okay. Now you are having kings, whatever that means. Maybe that's, by the way, that's the reason for all this, want to have kings in your town. I'll read one more stuff and then we'll move on. We'll read the response by the Minister of Education. This is from Majiparam, October 1960. He says here, having no great history. In fact, let me go back to the beginning. Beneath these difficult restraints, regional differences are great. I believe that the Igbo are the main force for unity. They need unity. As the poorest region, though perhaps the recent strike of mineral oil will change that, they have had to pour out of their overcrowded forests to seek work all over the other regions. Again, having no great history, no impressive chiefs or cities, they need to find their pride, their fulfillment in Nigeria itself. When was this? 20th October 1960. If you had no great history, does that mean you cannot create great future? No, it doesn't. You can create something better, but don't tell all of us to change it so that you can feel like you are Nigerian. Numbers do not determine quality. Just because you are also a major group does not mean that, okay, everything in our past is exactly like what our Hausas have. Our Hausas had city-states. Yorubas had kingdoms. You know, one of these days, by the way, all these Yoruba people that are going everywhere shouting that one king did treaty for all of us is nonsense. Different kings did treaties. Alaafin had his own treaty. It did not cover Yoruba people. Egba had their own separate treaty. Ijebu had their own. Ife had their own separate treaty. Different Yoruba kingdoms had signed treaties with the British. Just like the Hausas also had many states. Although by the time the British arrived, they were already united under the Fulani hegemony. But you get the point. The point is, history is history. You don't have to change it. So if you're talking about kingdoms, eras of kings, and they don't mention your ethnicity, just ask yourself, do you have anything like that in that period? If the answer is yes, then they are wrong. If the answer is no, it's history. It's history. Having said that, I'll now read what the Minister of Education said on the matter. The attention of the Federal Ministry of Education has been drawn to misleading reports and public discussions around a history textbook titled Living History, including claims alleging the exclusion of Igbo content and suggestions that the book is approved for use in Nigerian schools. The ministry wishes to state clearly, firmly, and unequivocally that Living History is not an approved textbook and has not been recommended for use in any Nigerian school by the Federal Ministry of Education. For the avoidance of doubt, the book was never submitted to National Educational Research and Development Council, NERDC, the statutory body responsible for the review, evaluation, and approval of instructional materials for assessment under the national curriculum. Consequently, it was not recommended by NERDC and does not appear on the officially approved list of textbooks for history by Federal Ministry of Education. Following consultations with the leadership of NERDC and a review of the officially endorsed list of textbooks aligned with the new curriculum, it has been confirmed that living history does not form part of the approved instructional materials for nationwide use. The Federal Ministry of Education therefore urges parents, teachers, school proprietors, administrators, and the general public to disregard all speculation, misinformation, and emotionally charged narratives surrounding the book and to refrain from its use in schools. The ministry emphasizes, when I was in school, I did history SS1. My own set in my school, they taught us science, arts, commercial in SS1. They used us as experiment. They never did it before us, and they didn't try it after our set. When they taught us history, they taught about Oyo Empire, Kanem Bono Empire. They didn't mention Igbo because the Igbo cannot be there. Adamorisha says Lagos signed the first treaty among. Yes, Lagos signed their own treaty after British bombardment. You know, I don't get this thing. Anyway, so they're saying that they are not going to use it in the schools. If they're discussing kings, they will not mention Ibos, and it's okay. Please ask your Yoruba friend for the meaning of that. May God bless you. The ministry emphasizes that the use of unapproved instructional materials undermines curriculum standards and may adversely affect teaching quality and learning outcomes. All approved textbooks strictly comply with the national curriculum and reflect Nigeria's rich cultural diversity. This is where I have a problem. And I hope that our policymakers also understand this. When you want to create curriculum, we do not. I'm not saying we did not. We do not. There's a reason everybody acts the way they do. There's a reason our ethnicities act. There's a reason our Hausas act the way they do. It's their history. Yorubas act the way we do because of our history. The Ibos do what they do. Ethics. Everybody does what they do partly because of in fact, mainly because of their history. Flower says, if the issue of my people is not about kingdoms and whatnot, include it there. We should mention you when we're talking about kings and kingdoms. Kings and kingdoms shall pass away, but there's nothing. When we are talking about the history that pertains to your people, we'll mention your people. When we're talking about history that pertains to kingdoms, we cannot mention your people. Do you understand now, Flower? If what we're discussing has to do with where your people feature, we will mention Ibos. If we're discussing kingdoms, bravery, adventures, things like that, we cannot mention your people. We can't. Conquering empires, things like that, we cannot mention Igbo. I think it would be a lie. And it's not that I think, it would be a lie. There are no conquerors from Igbo. They don't exist. But if we want to discuss coup, for instance, now we have to mention Igbos. If we want to talk about the first coup in Nigeria that was executed, we have to mention Igbos. That one you feature prominently there. It's just what it is. If we want to talk about Ugoku, right? If we want to talk about what was that man? Eri. Even though I paused because I know that he also has Igala origin. So let me tell you for anything. Somebody wanted to prove Igbo history to me and said to me that Eri is in the Bible. I was like, which one? Said the same one. I was like, oh, okay. So open the Bible, son of God, one of the sons of Jacob, Is everything right at all? It is an Igala man. Right? Me, I don't like talking Igbo history. Unless you don't want to tell the truth. Let me tell you about Yoruba history. Our history is full of all kinds of things. Cobwebs and beauty, and cobwebs and triumphs, and cobwebs and laughter, and tears, and wars, and laughter, and tears, and wars, enjoys every history. It's history. For instance, as a Yoruba person, if you come to me now and say to me that you people, you fought amongst yourself for 16 years, that there's nothing cool about KJ War. Nothing cool about it. But if you tell me that it happened, and I have to feel bad about it, it happened. But if you say, don't talk about it, just talk about the part where we're all happy and we're all building together and we're all doing something, you are not ready for history. Just gonna be watching cartoon. Even your cartoon self, you have villains there, but you get the point. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that because it's been on for a bit, and I think people should get serious. When you feature prominently, they will talk about you. And let me say it this way. There's a reason people don't talk about history from certain parts of the country. And I'll mention two of those reasons. Number one is that it's a case of evolution, right? Cultural evolution, I mean. I'm not talking about genetics or anything. Cultural evolution. You have not evolved to the point where you can actually just face the past and, because ordinary cool, you are still crying. Any small things, those don't so you cannot discuss your issue. Number two is that what you wear is as determining what you are. And if you are reminded of what you wear because it's actually how you are behaving, you'll be angry. Which goes back to number one, cultural evolution issues. So that's the reason. So I just want to advise all Nigerians, embrace your history, embrace it. It's part of your kidney. And where you are supposed, and if you have evolved, we will know. For instance, somebody's typing, I won't mention Isha. If you mention Kirija, I won't say, yes, we did it. It's a bad period in our history as Yoruba people. We acknowledge it, we learn from it. But when you talk about the greatness if you talk about the greatness of Oyo, for instance, I'll be happy. If you talk about the Ekiti, I'll be happy. If you talk about Ife, Abeokuta, Ijebu, Egba, or Yewa, everybody, I'll be happy. But if we talk about our mistakes as well, I will feel somehow, but I'll learn from it and move on. Not to be shouting, stop it. Are we not all Nigerian? That's not how history works. So. Okay. May God bless every part of this country. And people get very comfortable with their past. It will change their lives.
Now, people sent me these videos over the weekend. One, I think is actually...
No, people sent me these videos over the weekend. One, I think is actually, I don't even know if both of them are not, lunatics, but let's play the one that calls himself the president, Republic of Biafra. He's talking about Lagos State. Just play the two videos. Around people to sue me. I don't know how there's always a new madman in town. Take a listen to this, please.
Chairman, these are the people we know as Zionists, and they have been done. Now we have stopped America from bringing Nigeria elections. Therefore, you have won in Jesus' name. So whatever the situation is at the moment now, we are in the selling crew. Can you say amen? Now the selling crews, why? The power they have been using against us, we have taken it from them. Now look at what they are doing in our people in Lagos. They are burning our property, our business, saying that we will vote in Lagos. That Lagos now belongs to Yoruba, and no more Ibos. But when Sir Louis and the neighbor people was building Lagos in the 1940s and the 1950s, where were the Yoruba? When Sir Louis and the neighbor people built the Lagos seaport, the Papa seaport, and Tinker Island, Sir Louis and the neighbor people built it. Where were the Yoruba? When Sir Louis and the neighbor people bought Nigeria Stock Exchange in Lagos, where were the Yoruba? When Sir Louis and the neighbor people built Nigeria Central Bank, where were the Lagos? Where were the Yoruba? In 1956, when the Queen of England came to Nigeria in Lagos, who provided the limousine to carry her? Sir Louis and the neighbor did. It was only in 1970, after the end of the war, that Obosama Awolowo seized Lagos and gave it to the Yoruba. And if not the company they took from us, Yoruba didn't manage it. They spent all of them in parking and everything. Now the people man have built himself again, they are now buying our properties in Lagos. But under the power of Zion, May 30th, they are going to reverse it in Jesus' name. I know what I'm telling you, I'm there with them 24 hours a day. America says yes, land to them. And you see the Zion. We have done well. Eat them there on our Jesus. Natch. We never say Natch, now Jesus. Support the Briella, now Jesus. Have you missed? Briella, Briella. The fire ladies, now Jesus. The people that matters most are the Americans.
I'm hearing what you're saying. That's why.
You know, a lot of people sent me this video. I didn't watch it at all. This is the first time I'm hearing what he's saying. That's why my mouth was open. What? I mean, this is news to me that Louis Odumegojuku built Lagos, built the central bank, built the stock exchange, built the Apapa port. I mean, practically built the palace, built the road that we're working on, built the sky, built the river, the lagoon, the ocean. Louis Odumegojuku built everywhere. Where were the Yoruba? You two Yoruba, but where were you when this his version of Louis Odumegojuku when the man was building all these things? Where were you? If you think that was bad, this one I heard the first 30 seconds and I was like, you know what? I don't have time. We'll listen to it together because I was actually very busy. I had the headset on, so I couldn't remove it to listen to everything. But 30 seconds, I feel we should listen to everything together. So this one, the first bit I heard, I know this one is madness. This is madness. And to be honest, Buhari was right. Buhari was right. If you have any plans to start psychiatric hospitals, please consider the Southeast. With all due respect to the good people of the Southeast, I really think you need the services of psychiatrists. I mean, in parts of the Southeast. And this one says Odumegojuku built Apapa, built Central Bank, built. Boy, talking about that psychiatric thing, this one I think is even worse. Take a listen, please.
Imi is nose in Igbo. In Yoruba is Imu. Ire is tongue in Igbo. In Yoruba is Ale. What is gini in Igbo? In Yoruba is gini. Okute is stone in Igbo. In Yoruba is okuta. Elu in Igbo is gold. In Yoruba is ewure. I can go on and on and on to tell you that what Yoruba is speaking today is corrupted today. Yoruba man is the biggest challenge of an Igbo man, not even an Hausa man. They are the biggest rivalry the Igbo man has. Why is this so? So the prince committed that sacrifice. He was chased out from the Oba's palace. He never took over from that Oba. So he migrated and found himself to the present location known as Ile Ife today. Ulo Ife, Ile is Ulo. That is house where something took place and happened. Now, with the Dahomey women that he fought with, he married so many of the Dahomey women, which corrupted the language of Igbo. Today, in Yoruba language, Ono is mouth, Eno in Igbo is Ono. Eti is ear in Yoruba. In Igbo is Nti. Imi is nose in Igbo. In Yoruba is Imu. Ire is tongue in Igbo. In Yoruba is Ale. What is Gini in Igbo? In Yoruba is Kini. Okute is stone in Igbo. In Yoruba is Okuta. Ewu in Igbo is goat. In Yoruba is Ewure. I can go on and on and on to tell you that what Yoruba is speaking today is corrupted Igbo. Corrupted Igbo. And I speak Yoruba fluently. I can tell you to clap your hands. Ekwatewo in Yoruba. Ekwatewo, ekwatewo. Clap your hands. Say me, we say, people will say, oh me, which is water. We say me from my own tongue. Me. This one will say, oh me, which is water. So you can see that Igbo man spreads across the entire globe. So that was what happened. At the point of moving out, the so-called Oduduwa, he was given a mark. Igbo man, the week in Igbo cosmology is 8 days, not 7. We have Nkwanta, Nkuku, Ekenta, Ekuku, Orienta, Oriuku, Afonta, Fuku, making 8. He was given a mark. Nkwo, Eke, Orie, Afo. Nkwo, Eke, Orie. That's the original Yoruba mark. To be able to identify him wherever you see him, never to have something to do with him. I want to believe that is the anger of the Yoruba man against Igbo today. We have gone deep down to investigate why the Yoruba man is too much angry about we the present ones here. I get what I'm saying. Now that was what happened. Now his cap, as I'm wearing my red cap, is original Igbo identified red cap. That kingship in the entire Nigeria, we are the only Igbos are the only kings that have their caps standing erect. Don't think that Yoruba man wearing that cap is wearing. You think it's fashion? It's not fashion, because for the fact that that prince committed that crime, his cap was fallen. It's not a fashion, but today people think it's fashion. Most of their obas, you see them, their cap is not standing. But the Ibos, you see the kings, you see their cap standing. That was what happened. And look at the mark. We have one single mark identifying us, or 2 at worst. That is Igbo mark. That is to know who we are. So whether you the Oni of Ife have said it that they are Igbos, that's the truth. You can't take it away from him. So that's why we're being hated. We didn't ask them to commit the sacrilege they committed at the time they committed it. We didn't ask the Yorubas to commit it. They said the Oba, the Oduduwa fell from heaven to be able to cut you off from the real history. But we're living with you today.
So that you don't investigate his origin.
So they don't investigate his origin. How can somebody fall from heaven? Then ask them, what is the meaning of Oduduwa? What's the meaning in Yoruba? It has no meaning. But in Igbo, it has meaning. Oduduwa. Because a prince like you, come on, do come do the punga, Odudu Mweze, Odudu Nefe, Lepe Mweze, and what call Odudu. Come on, do the punga, also. Odudu Mweze, Odudu Wa. And don't you go, you Odudu Mweze, okay, Fene, hey, Chineke, people. Hi, Odudu Wa, hi. Then I call it Odudu Wa. It has no meaning. If we talk about Orameni, all these other type of things they are talking about, Odudu Wa.
I'm a Christian, but wallahi, you can't so one more in wallahi, they should find the rope and tie these ones. These are mad people. You know when Nnamdi Kanu says mad people everywhere, he's right. He's right. These are mad people everywhere. Where do I begin? Let's start with the cap. That cap is from Turkey.
It's from Turkey.
The red cap.
The winter cap, the
that he's talking about is from Turkey. The winter cap, the other one, that's from the British. Jesus is Lord. Say the reason we are bending our cap is because of somebody did sacrilege. Your father's people are the ones committing sacrilege. What kind of rubbish is this? Because Omi sounds like me. There's something called the Niger-Congo family of languages, right? There's Niger-Congo. We are all in the same. So Edo. Family of languages. How does that mean that Yoruba language is the distorted version of Igbo? Which Igbo? Which one? This is madness. So, and it's an epidemic, and it's not the kids. And this clown of a man talks about Joa. He did not fall from heaven. The idea of Oduduwa descending from heaven is a myth of origin. It's not the history of how he got to the earth. But you would not know because you have nothing like that where you come from. The latest ideation or iteration of the myth is actually a recent invention that talked about, is it Ariano Amaka or whatever the woman's name, husband and wife descending from heaven together. That's the Igbo myth. That's why when Ibos say that Oduduwa fell from heaven, I'm like, don't you know you're insulting your own ancestors? Because Oduduwa was the man that came from, let's even say he came from heaven. Okay. In your own case, both the husband and the wife fell from heaven. What's this madness? Why do you feel the need to always attach yourself? And I've said this several times in case you were not here. The Igbo who are from Ife are not the Ibos of the Southeast. That's literally the reason I spell Igbo as IBO. It's not because I disrespect. I do that intentionally because it's like something is wrong with some people. Are there Igbo from Yoruba land? Yes. Do they have anything to do with people in the Southeast? No. The Igbo are also called the Ugbo. They still have their compound in Ife. I am from Ife. See, I get very, I don't even know where I'm even calm today. Normally I would have, I get, what's the word now? I just get nauseated when I hear these clowns talk nonsense. There is a place in Ife that is Ile-Igbo. The Igbo are also Ugbo. And they are Yoruba people. But they're not Ibos. And even the Ibos, even if they spell their name as IGBO, they still don't pronounce it like Igbo. They never use the word Gbo. They don't use B. One is aggressive, and that's not what theirs is. They call it, and I've said this, if you read the book by G.T. Baston, Among the Ibos of Nigeria, he said, and he's correct, that the closest way to actually spell the word as it is pronounced is IBWO. Secondary school. It's a flex, right? It was junior workshop, that was in the 90s, but it's a flex. It's Igbo, right? The thing about it is the language, the people, they are not pronounced, they are not Igbo. They are Igbos from Ife. The Igbo are also the Ugbo. Like I always say, in Yoruba land, we have different dialects. Central Yoruba land will use U. Northern will use I. Ule will be Ile. Ushu will be Ishu. Ugbo will be Igbo. It's the same thing. And many of them, apart from those who are still in the compound in Ife, many moved to a place called Ugbo today in Ilaje area. They are Ilaje people now. Then on those states, they have nothing to do with people from the Southeast. So all this thing about the president says something, the Oni says something, whatever the Oni says can only apply if we are discussing Yoruba, it can only, and by the way, kings are not necessarily historians. Kings are not chroniclers, they're not historians. And whatever Igbo Baba may be referring to has to be the Igbos of Village. It cannot be force of. We don't have anything in common. The only thing that probably will bring us close will be the Benis. And the relationship between you and Bini is not, you are not even peers. If and Benin are not peers, his father is like man and grandchild, but his family. You and Benin, you're not even family, it's different, and I don't want to mention it. The relationship between Benin and Igbo is not even family. Yoruba and Benin, at least the palace, the relationship between Yoruba, particularly our source, Ife, and Benin is family. Especially we're talking about the palace and some of the chiefs and some of the families in Benin. We are family. The relationship between Benin and Igbo is not even family. It's not good. I don't want to mention what it is. So if we ever had any connection, it will be through Benin, because they are the ones between, and we don't share borders with these people now. You know, somebody said something, I said, do you know what is what is nyon? What is nyon in English language? You know, I have an elderly man who did linguistics in the 1960s. I mean, he finished uni in the 1960s. He used to say something about how all languages in the world connect. By the time you listen to people like that, you know that these ones don't know what they're talking about. What is nyon? Is yon. Does that mean we are connected? Because I say nyon, he say yon. Therefore, there's something that connects us. It doesn't. Are we part of the same language? I mean, linguistic tree? Yes. And the dispersion was probably have happened. I mean, whatever the differentiations would have happened maybe thousands of years ago. I'm your brother as much as I'm the brother of a Zulu man in South Africa. I might even claim that one because I think he has a better understanding of how life works. Nigeria is Nigeria man carry by on alone. Baba, God bless you. Everybody says Baba. Almost all languages have either Baba or Papa to be father, including the English language that has father, and Mama to be mother. So apparently, I mean, all of us are from the same language now. But if you break it down, yes, we are the Niger-Congo, you know, language family, but that doesn't mean that, oh, somehow we are. And by the way, what is this thing? You must be very, very small to always constantly. It is. By the way, it's also a sign that you are higher if you're Yoruba. So don't get too angry. Sight is the one they attach themselves to, and it's not just us. I'll play a few videos. Just listen to. I don't know if you can call this funny. I mean, it's funny. I could laugh, but sincerely, I think it calls for concern. There is mental problem, real mental problem, you know, in some parts of Nigeria, and you hear it from people. You can hear it when, you know, the uneducated are speaking, and those who are educated as well. They sound exactly the same, just like the clown who just finished speaking. They were from Israel. They have something to do with Egypt. They're from all over the place. Yoruba is a recent one, but let's listen to a few of their origin stories. Take a listen to this one about America. It's a very fantastic thing. It's very deep. Take a listen.
You ask anybody, the name America is an Igbo name. America is an Igbo name. The real meaning is Emerigomnka. Ask anybody, the founder of America is a black. No matter what is taking place today. And that will take us back You ask anybody. The name America is an Igbo name. America is an Igbo name. The real meaning is Emerigomunka. Ask anybody. The founder of America is a black. No matter what is taking place today, and that will take us back. You, the English people, said civilization started in Africa. Yes, it started here. When you read the Bible very well, when you find out that before they get to that place where Israel is dwelling today, the tribe of God has a place for them, their children and their people. They didn't get to the Israel with the people. They fight and get to the place. Now, that will take me to another place, because to keep it there, why we say this is that when they wrote Bible, we are not there. But when you see that from Genesis to Malachi, it's our history and it's our tradition.
I want to make sure that I understand you.
Yeah.
You said that place, Israel. When you say Israel, what area you're talking about? Where is this Israel?
Israel is now where people are living now as Israel now. But the original Israel is here. I told you, go and do your research. Since the creation of the world,
yes,
this place you are living has never been destroyed.
Wait. You go here plenty. So we have America now, we have Israel, and someone says go and verify exactly, go and do your research. Anyway, let's keep listening to so that you see, they don't attach themselves to any small group, now only so. Take a listen to another one, please.
The woman named called Bo, who gave birth to Europa. Europa, the one that ruled Europe. Yeah, Europa is all.
Europa, okay.
Europa is the woman's name. The grandmother's name is Bo. The woman named called Bo, who gave birth to Europa. Europa, the one that ruled Europe. Yeah, Europa is all.
Europa, okay.
Europa is the woman's name. The grandmother's name is Bo. The woman's name. The grandmother's name is Bo.
Whoever put that soundtrack there, Jesus, my brain won't blow. Whoever put that in there, may God forgive that person. I think they make me laugh. Be that. Said it might be Bo. You can't become Europa. One more time, because you have to let the history sink in. You guys must learn history today. We all must learn a lesson. Take a listen again, please.
The woman named called Bo, who gave birth to Europa. Europa, the one that ruled Europe. Yeah, Europa is all.
Europa, okay.
Europa is the woman's name. The grandmother's name is Bo. The woman named called Bo.
You never finish, sure. I won't give you somebody. This one is educated. They speak very, very good English. You go here and that. So you don't hear Israel. You don't hear America, Emerigonka. I have to learn very well. Emerigonka. Now you are hearing Europa. This another one. This one is deep. This one is speaking English. Take a listen to, the man. This guy is definitely lost, by the way. But I mean, who are we? Take a listen.
Several volumes of the book. You will see that the 360 pharaohs. We call them in Igbo, Feroha, your worship of the people. We are all Ibos. They were the people who built the pyramids. They were the people who invented writing. They were the people who invented the battery circuits. I show it in the book. I actually show typical battery circuits which were invented then. I actually show the aeroplane with perfect tetrahedral structure, which has been tested by companies like Lockheed Martin. The models, they have been put in a wind tunnel and they fly. So that means even today's technology, if the engineers have not even achieved this level of perfection as we speak. So the Ibos really were the kings of ancient Israel. They were the pharaohs. They were the people we know as as Carthaginians, and then some of them are known as Phoenicians.
Are we learning the fundamentals of the history? Okay, as if in this, no, just a couple more. So now we have Egypt. They are the pharaohs. Okay. When somebody say, are they lost? I'll answer that question later. But more just listen to one or two more. Totally confused group. Take a listen to this.
Not a New Yam festival. It is to mark the killing of our Lord Jesus Christ, Emmanuel. He was crucified right here in Owerri, where at Ugwekwe Marug, Ekwe Oma Aru Ogo, the skull shrine of the abomination of the district. But the mistransliteration led to Ekwe Marugo. But Ekwe, skull, Oma, temple, Aru Ogo, the skull shrine of the abomination of the district. So to mark that crucifixion, the leaders from time immemorial, who were the people who led his crucifixion, right here, mark it and remember it in an annual celebration to mark this sorrow of the crucifixion of the person who were called Manuelu. Manuelu is somebody that came from above, which you call in English Emmanuel. Now, what had happened here was that at about the time Christ was born, right here in Owerri, and he was called Manuel, the leaders, his own people, did not trust what he was saying, that he was the Son of God. Well, they said, well, we know you work with your father. The father was called Onyo Jesu Joseph. And they had a shop on this Ekonwa Street here. You call it Ekonwa Street, but the correct thing is Eke Ono Wa Osisi. Eke Ono Wa Osisi. The marketplace, the Eke marketplace where he split wood, because he had a shop at the junction of Ekonwa and Ihenacho Street. That whole area is called Oruunjemanze. That's what it's called. Oruunjemanze, that is not correctly called, is the...
Hey, we must learn a lesson. Emmanuel, what did they call Emmanuel? What did they call Emmanuel? I need to hear that one. I won't remember.
Of our Lord Jesus Christ, Emmanuel. He was crucified right here in Owerri, where? At Ugwekwe Marug, Ekwe Oma Aru Ogo, the skull shrine of the abomination. But the mistransliteration led to Ekwe Marugo. But
oh, so Emmanuel is Ekwe Marugo, and now became Emmanuel. Wow. What a wonderful historian clown. Wow. What's one more? One more.
So I need to go now. So okay. Jesus is a Nigerian.
Yeah, Jesus is a Nigerian.
So which part of Nigeria?
From Ibo. I'm from Ibo.
Which part of Ibo?
Imo State.
Imo State.
Imo State. Where Imo is that
oh, okay.
Imo State.
So it's good to hear Jesus is from Nigeria.
Jesus is from Nigeria.
And Jesus is coming back through you.
Yes.
You are Virgin Mary.
I was the Virgin Mary.
You are Jesus.
And the mother of Jesus. Jesus, God is from Nigeria. Well, and the mother of Jesus. And the mother of Jesus, God have made me to know that I'm the mother of Jesus. This celebration have been coming to me since 2015. I've gotten several revelations about it.
Jesus is from Nigeria.
Well, Jesus was born through me over 2,000.
Oh, through you?
Through me, yes, through the Virgin Mary. I was the Virgin Mary.
You were the Virgin Mary?
Yes, according to the revelation I'm getting, he made me to know that I was the Virgin Mary.
Oh.
And Jesus is coming through me again in this earth.
Oh.
This time.
Okay.
Jesus is going to reincarnate.
Through you?
Right, through me, by the greater mercy of God and the will of God. That's what God has given me to do.
Oh, okay.
And he will come here and be born here. And the way
Sincerely, I feel pity for this lady. I mean, she's a lady, maybe that's why. The other ones have been giving us boldness of Emery Gonka. because at this point, how many places have we been today? We've been to America, we've been to Europe, we visited Egypt, Ẹkáàbọ. We also went to Israel, and we've seen that these are people from different parts of the world. But so when you hear that now they are now from Ife. Oh yes, thank you, Lola. We also hear from Ife. So we've heard Israel, Egypt, America, Europe, and Ife. If you notice, they don't attach themselves to any small group. It has to be higher than, them, which is true, to be honest. Civilization, history, everything. It's the fact. That much I can, confirm. But here's the issue. This may look cool to folks. Oh, the one in Japan, I'll find that one. I will find that Japan. I'll find it. Folks, maybe you guys don't see it as anything serious, but sincerely, this is madness. There's some of you in the comment section typing rubbish. This is madness. But I'm going to play that Japan stuff. I'll find it now. Play you something from an honest priest who is actually, I've learned this, a while back, but I think it's important to listen to it. This is the reality. Well, partly, there's another one. Maybe we'll get to that. Who knows? There's something folks are running away from. And what they're running away from is their real history. Let me just play something to you from one of the priests from the East. Take a listen to this.
In the 17th century, I've told this story many times, because here that we don't have a historical approach to our problems. In the late 17th century, the Jukun put pressure on the Igalas on the northern border and pushed the Igala southwards. And the Ata of Igala, the ruler of Igala, was a very powerful man, and he moved southwards. And when the Ata of Igala moved southwards, he conquered most of northern Igbo land, from Mbaneki Igbo Canal right down to Asaba. And the Ata of Igala used religion as an instrument of colonization. It was religious colonialism. He introduced his priests until about 50 years ago. No bundi gara na batama, mo bundi gara na biechi hatama. Malile don saka uno bondonna. Go and research. Malile shin sakash, none in sakashi gara. Most of them, except Enyangwe Zechitoka Biama, no Kukichi Ezecha Biama. Enyangwe Zechitoka na Nagoya no Tobo, o Kukena Nagoya ni Mulo. Go and research. You are fathers. Mandos all Lady Arabia, Odo by an evil cult. Or Mabe Akatakpa. Okay, all those ones were parts of the 9 royal masquerades of the Ata that he used to enforce discipline and collect taxes. In Azano and Alama, the police is now doing the work that Oriopa and Akatakpa we are doing before. What are they still doing here? Present Atai of Igara, the present Atas are Christians. Ata lagde, Burundu Bay lagde, Anando Chufunanya Ata Igara and the Bay Bundocha. The colonial masters and the Christian missionaries redeemed us from the slavery of the Ata of Igara and his men. But up till now, the royal masquerades that he used to terrorize us are still in Ansoka.
That is true. Parts of Igbo land were colonized by Igala. And the thing is this, it gets worse, by the way, but I'm not going to talk about it today. at least not yet, until, of course, I see people in the comment section. It might make me say it, but you can't make me say anything. I will say it if I think it's necessary. Being here. What is said about being conquered, that's true. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Here's the issue, right? The history is not so cool, but it is what it is. I think we should just be happy with the history rather than, running around the place trying to change it. And one of the people who are trying to change history is this man, who, like his brothers who have been to Europa and Amerigonka, he has a different idea. I think he's fantastic, by the way. But take a listen, you might like it. You just might. Take a listen, please.
Japanese government said they are interested, I have to come. Because the first time I told the people that the Igbo people gave back to Japan, they said I am crazy. I shut my mouth. Later, Japanese government said they are interested, I have to come. Because when I got there, I am going to show them why the Japanese answer names like Ogwejofo, Ngozeka.
The Japanese?
Yes. If you go to Kanagawa in Japan, you see that the Igbo people gave back to Japan. When I told them that the Igbo people gave back to the Harappan and the Dravidian civilization of India, people said I am crazy. But when I pointed Igbo things in India, in Hindu, in Sanskrit, everybody shut up. I asked them, why was the Ibuku report a zoom from Ibuku bearing Sanskrit writings on the body? Because the Igbo people introduced Sanskrit. But the problem is this: you have been made to believe, not know. You get my point? Someone belittled your heritage and told you that your history started from slavery, not knowing that your ancestors has been here for more than 1.6 million years. You get my point? Now, there are things I will begin to ask you now. You sound so gibberish. If you say that Abraham or Adam and Eve are the first man on earth, right? How old is your Bible story? Approximately 6,000 years, right?
Yes.
There is a pyramid in Indonesia, 27,000 years. Where was Adam when that pyramid was built?
That pyramid is
still here. There is a pyramid in Giza, more than 6,000 years. Where was Adam? The Sude pyramid, how many thousand years if they carbon date it? Right? The Ibuku report, the Okigwe evidence, the Lejan Suka evidence, Lejan Suka, where we've been smelting iron as at 4,000 BC, before Common Era, BCE. So where was Adam when all these things?
The truth is, it's just a bunch of jokers that don't know what they're talking about. And there's an elder, from time to time, we might just have one person like in the grossest of darkness, I don't know the word to use, when everything is pitch black. No matter how dark it gets, right? Sometimes you just find this flicker of light. And I found one, and I thought I should share with you. Just 30 seconds. It's a flicker of light in this darkness of lies. Here's an elder who was asked a simple question: where are Ibos from? And he had this fantastic answer to provide. Take a listen to this, please.
In your own word and in one statement, where do the Ibos come from? I know there are many ideas.
Yes.
Where would you say they come from?
I don't know where they come from.
Okay, you don't know where they come from.
But there are many speculations, many fairy tales. If you fancy any of them, I'll start reading them out to you. But I think we are trying to be scientific, realistic, rather than romantic and...
Okay, thank you very much, OON. You can get me.
That man just told the truth. He doesn't know, and that's more honorable. If you don't know, then you begin to, look for the real answers. But if they're from all over the place, one is from here, the other is from here. By the way, you can choose wherever you want to come from. Wherever you want to attach yourself to attach. Well, please stop this Yoruba farming. And all this started because of the bold clown who put out a video talking about how Yoruba words sound like Igbo words, and then in his corrupted. I don't even, let me not insult the clown, because again, clown is the highest I usually go when I want to talk to people, because I'm not going to say the same way. In case he hears it and I feel so bad, he may want to end it. Anyway, take a listen to it. In case you're not here in the beginning, take a listen, please.
Imi is nose in Igbo. In Yoruba is Imu. Ire is tongue in Igbo. In Yoruba is Ale. What is Gini in Igbo? In Yoruba is Kini. Okute is stone in Igbo. In Yoruba is Okuta. Ewu in Igbo is gold. In Yoruba is Ewure. I can go on and on and on to tell you that what Yoruba is speaking today is corrupted Igbo.
I can't listen to more than that right now, because it's just stupidity. Yoruba is speaking corrupted Igbo. They developed everywhere. Oduduwa has some. How can Oduduwa have something to do with you? 1,000 years ago, he was building city-states. 200 years ago, you were not even clothed. It is well. People should be proud of where they're from, wherever you're from. I found something. I don't think it's time to talk about it. I don't know. It's a lot better that way. We'll leave matter for matters, but make it very clear. They are Igbo, they are Ibos who are Yoruba. The Igbo or Ugbo are Yoruba people. They are in Ife. They're also in a place called Ondo State. They are Ilaje people today. There's an Ilaje subgroup of Yoruba people. Just like you have Ijesha and you have Ijebu and they're all Yoruba. You also have Ilaje and they're Yoruba. And of those Ilaje, you have the Mai and you have the Igbo or Ugbo. They are different from the Ibos of the southeast. Ibos are not Yoruba. We don't speak the same language. By the way, if you're looking for a language that's actually very close to Yoruba, it's Igala. It's Igala. If an Igala person is speaking, you will know what they are saying. Of course, at the surface level. Case in point, when it greets Ola Ane, Ane is Ale. Even the title of the king, Oloja, Onoja. Oloja is one of the titles of king in Yoruba. Ebipami, Epo. They talk about, or we have things, but even they, I mean, although the language is Yoruboid, they still have respect. Let alone somebody who is now, say, Atamo, I call Omi, you call Miri, I call water, you call Tower. You are now looking for a way to mix everything. I beg, go and sit down. Go and sit down. Everybody will be all right, but this is getting out of hand. And my last statement on this thing is this. Government in the Southeast really needs to do something about psychiatry. They have to get very, very serious. A lot of people are running mad. You know, they wear suits, speak English. This one's talking about the fact that he's wearing a cap and the cap is standing. That you people bend their cap because of a sacrilege. Sacrilege how? The cap he's wearing that he's talking, that cap is not even from their place. It's from Turkey. The other one is from the British. There's winter cap, the one for the Warren Chiefs, and then there's this one, that Turkey one that is red. To say that you now have one that is standing because you are Kiniko is just nonsense. But seriously, government needs to do something about it. People need to start visiting the psychiatry hospital. They need all the help they can get, and may God remember them. You know, especially this as spokespeople. And if you are Igbo writing nonsense in the comment section, you have never said anything about the stupidity you are listening to from your people, but you are insulting me in the comment section. Whenever you get a mirror in your house, or even if you're looking into the water, you want to take a bath and you look at the water, if that person inside that water is the person you're talking to. Because most of you are just retards. I don't understand why you'd be insulting me. Because I'm saying that somebody said that from America. It's not even me. You're from America, you're from Japan, you're from Ife, you're from Israel, you're from Egypt. You are from nowhere. Actually, I'll say it this way. Let me recommend a book. Read Beyond the Ethnic Politics by Okudi Banoli. He said some things about how you came to be. Not exactly, but a little about it. And then if you read the book by Joe Book, he also mentions some things about it. By the time you put everything together, there's some other books, but start with that one. Yeah, the point is just find yourself, but leave us out of it. May God bless you and keep you. But sincerely, many are mad, but few are roaming. Thank you very much for listening. And that was why Ibos were not included in the history book. That was the first. All right, thank you very much for listening. That was why Ibos were not included in the history book. That was the first clip, and then the second one had to do with the different kind of histories that we hear, about the Igbo origin stories and why they always, trying to attach themselves to others. Someone on YouTube said, let's go to something else. I just thought, okay, I mentioned earlier that we're playing this because of the feedback we got from one of the videos that we put out a couple of days ago. All right. But we're going to go into more serious things. I mean, this is also serious, to be clear, because if we keep hearing this thing about we are together, before you know it, and I've seen it, by the way, even Yoruba people begin to change their history to accommodate strangers in order to prove that we are united Nigeria. Oh, they say Omi, you say Miri, therefore there must be a connection. That makes no sense. And this does not mean I'm going for disunity, but the point is, we are from a family of languages called Niger-Congo. All right? Niger-Congo family of languages is not just about Yoruba and Igbo. There are more than 1,000 languages, about 1,500 languages. So all the way from West Africa to Central, East, and all the way to Southern Africa, we are all part of that family. So whatever connection you are trying to establish between me and an Igbo person, you can also establish it between me and a Zulu person. But I don't see the Zulu man trying to tell me that. And I've seen a video where they were telling the Zulu too that the Zulu was originally from Igbo land. I saw that one. I was just like, people are bold though. So the thing is, we are not connected. And this does not mean we are not united. It means that we are not connected. Meanwhile, why is it that these people don't say the same thing to the Hausa man? Is the Hausa not connected to the Ibos? I don't know words that sound alike. How about the Fulani? Why are they not connected? They have to try to find a connection as well. If they can find America and Japan, surely they should be able to find the one with Hausa. The truth of the matter is that we can all live together in Nigeria as one big family and do great things together, but we allow folks to rewrite history. Now, back to what we started with, the book and history. Personally, I don't go into the whole thing about, tell me my history, because if I tell you your history, you might get angry. But I want to mention one thing. So maybe another day I'm going to, talk about the two examples that people brought up when they were discussing the video. They mentioned Nri and Arochukwu. Before I even go there, let me also remind us that Igala is closer to Yoruba than Igbo. In fact, Igbo is not even close to Yoruba at all. They are looking for words that sound like Yoruba. Igala has phrases and phrases that are actually Yoruba. Like whole phrases. Sometimes one sentence here and there. You will hear Ebi Pami. That's a sentence. I am hungry. Ebi Pami. Ebi Pami. There are words that are like ours. They're literally called a Yoruba language. Not just are we together in Niger-Congo, they are actually Yoruba in terms of the language. They are a distinct ethnicity. They are not speaking Yoruba language. They speak Igala language, but that language is Yoruba. I'm not forcing them to be Yoruba. It is the one whose connection is like the one from Zulu that is telling me that I am the same with them, and I have to say yes in order to say that we are all united. That's insanity. We are not connected. And the reason has to do with your origin, which you are running away from. And I don't think it's time for me to talk about, because people have been asking, why not just talk about their history? They should tell us their own history. Right now, I'm holding a book. It's called The Igbo People, History and Worldview. This book, the first page, not lie. Very first page, not lie. The second page, not lie. The second page, he made a statement and then he quoted somebody and contradicted what he said. So let me read something to you from this book. Let's start with this one before we go into the things that they brought up. So the man has said, let me just, we're talking about this whole king thing. Let me tell you what the guy said and I'll read to you what he's quoting. And what he quoted is actually correct, but what he's saying is contradictory.
It was this village republicanism, the democratic nature of Igbo society.
He says here, it was this village republicanism, the democratic nature of Igbo society, or the fact that in Igbo land power did not reside in one single person, but in a collectivity of elders, that led to the common aphorism, Igbo Eweze. The Igbo have no kings, but the Igbo have kings. Since the concept of kingship was not alien to the primordial Igbo, it is actually alien, but just stay with me. So he is saying, I don't want to even tell you the name of the person, I don't want to make them popular, because this book is a shame. But I have many of them, but like that. I like to read them, so maybe one day. And I have some that actually that are good though. And even this book, it's not like there's nothing good there. It's just that it's more about rewriting the past than actually stating what happened in order to build a better future. Crazy stuff. Anyway, let's continue. Who is this? It says Igbo clearly don't want to be with you guys, yet you claim that you can live together with Igbos. Listen, your being here doesn't add anything to me. It doesn't remove anything from me. If you disturb it too much, you are out. Whatever your name is, motivational clown. If you say that you don't want to live with Nigerians, why are you here? If you get on the bus today and you go back home, will anybody stop you at the park? What's all this nonsense that you guys always spewing all over the place? This is not spare parts market. If you are tired of Nigeria, carry your bag and go home. Nobody will stop you, I promise. You're not indispensable. You're not this person like, if you go the whole country, you'll be replaced. You staying doesn't add to me. You leaving doesn't take from me. Whatever you want to do, do it. But stop telling me that you want to go. If you want to go, go. God bless you as you go on. God bless you. All right, let me read what I was reading. Motivational, if you're not going to say anything motivational, just, keep it to yourself. Because what you're writing in comment section, you're just spamming the place with nonsense. Where was I, Jerry? He says here, but the Igbos are kings. Since the concept of kingship was not, then he says here, for instance, in Igbo society, whatever holds the offer, a symbol of truth and justice, is regarded as the king. Ezejiofo. Some people also bear names like Ezenago and so on and so forth. But let's read the other part. Amplifying this republicanism, Ebeko Maduaboruchuku. I apologize. I'm not doing that intentionally. Sincerely, I'm trying to learn the word. Ebeku Maduaboruchuku affirmed that traditionally the Igbo were egalitarian and had no kings. Guys, believe it or not, I'm reading the same page. I'm on the same page. On one hand, they're saying that they have kings because they passed, they must have had kings. Now they're saying that they had no kings. And wait to the original Igbo culture is egalitarian, and the word Eze does not mean king in the literal sense of the word, but priest. According to him, the idea of kings, queens, princes, and princesses was recently adopted during Ugazi, that's slave trade, the time when the enslavers and colonizers were scrambling for Africa. The word Eze most likely originated from the Nri priesthood culture of the Igbo. The reason the Igbo do not bow down is because Igbo culture did not originate from kingships, but from egalitarianism. When we say Igbo Eweze, the spirit of the people refers to the fact that the word Eze has been corrupted from its original meaning. I'm going to discuss this thing tomorrow. I'm going to talk about this thing tomorrow because people mention Henry.
The idea of
The Henry that they're always shouting.
it's not even political at all. It's rituals and spiritual.
The idea of Henry is more spiritual than if it's not even political at all. It's rituals and spiritual authority that the Henry priest had and was called Eze. He wasn't a king.
You're talking. Why are you so hateful?
Let me just spend some with you guys. It says here, you're talking. Why are you so hateful of Ibos? That's my question. Number one, don't say you talking. You're not talking to your dad. Speak as if you have sense. So don't say you talking as if you are talking to your parents. You speak, with wisdom. You're in public. God bless you. So you said, why are you so hateful of Ibos? I don't hate Ibos. So I don't know how to answer that question. I don't hate Ibos. We're discussing history. Your people are crying about the fact that they didn't mention them when they're talking about kings, but you had no kings in your past. You had no kings. Motivational says you spend so much energy and time delving into the issues of people you clearly dislike. I don't hate Ibos. I don't know. I think you want me to spend time to prove to you that I don't hate Ibos. I don't have to prove anything to you. If you think I hate Ibos, worth me. You're not worth the energy that it takes to hate people. I don't waste my energy anyhow. So I can't even hate to start with. But if I were to hate people, it will not be your people. Trust me, it's a waste of energy. We're discussing history. We're just talking. The guy is crying, saying that they're not talking about Ibos when they're discussing kingdoms and city-states. And I'm saying, why should they discuss you when you don't feature in that part of history? The closest thing, and I mentioned it in the video, was Onitsha. And that's because of Benin connection. The other one that you can say is even closer will be Arochukwu. And that one, if I want to talk about it, you will say I hate you. And by the way, why is it that what you pride yourself over, like we bow to no man, we have no kings, why do you now want us to change history to now say, oh, now you have kings, but you still don't have kings? Why is your history like you're not consistent with it about anything? Ulukase says Igbo has Eze always. Each village has a Abba. Ululu case on YouTube. Abba now. How can you say each Igbo village has a king? You don't even really have villages like that. You had acephalous communities. The word acephalous means no defined head. I'm not sure you guys know your history. Maybe that's why you guys move the way you move across the world. Just say we are the same. We're not the same. You had no defined heads, and you definitely did not have villages in the sense of what we call villages today. You had acephalous communities that from here, you know what? I'll bring some books tomorrow. Maybe I'll discuss this before we go to our topic. We're discussing Awo on trial, why Awo was, tried for treason. So we'll discuss that tomorrow. Before we get into that, I promise you I'm going to bring some books to answer your question. Because if I say those things right now, it will be like insult. So let me just say some of those books now. You can start with this one, the Igbo, People, History, and Worldview. You can read Ethnic Politics in Nigeria by Okuduba Noli. You can read Ibos 25 Years After the War by Joe Bokwe. There's another book. I'll see if I can find it for you so you can see it if you like. You will not read it, Sha. No, you will never read it. The highest that you read is receipt and invoice. So I'm just saying in case other people want to read. And then you can read, I found this one. Notes on the Igbo country, southern Nigeria. You can read Among the Ibos of Nigeria by G.T. Basden. If you're really interested, we're going to have this conversation. If you want to, I promise you're going to have it. Life in Southern Nigeria by Percy Talbot. I'm just looking through myself. So don't worry. We'll have the conversation. You guys, somebody needs to sit you down and actually let you know who you are. And it's not me. It should be somebody from your ethnicity that will be honest enough to tell you exactly who you are. And the reason is that it helps you go through life like a sane human being. You go everywhere just constituting nuisance. Telling people you are this, you are that, you are this, when in reality, it is well with you.
Someone says you can't tell me my history, bro. Why would I want to tell you your history? You don't even have one.
Where else is here? Someone says you can't tell me my history, bro. Why would I want to tell you your history? You don't even have one. Who is next? See live action. Is that your parents? You just described in that comment section. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Regards to them. Guys, I think we're going to bring people up now on TikTok. JMF Sammy says Jesus invoice. No, invoice is the highest thing that this clown can read when he's selling spare parts. Can't say anything beyond that. I just want to read. Focus on your bias. You're not the one. You don't even have the capacity to even utter what you just uttered. No, you can't. I have a village, bro. Stop complicating issues of. No. You don't have villages. You do have villages now, but you didn't used to have villages. You need to have pockets of like they're just small hamlets. I've been to your place, by the way. Just small hamlets. Then later on, when Ibos came, that's why having villages. You didn't even have towns before colonialism. Your first town was built by the British. It's called Enugu. That was the very first town. Anything outside of nature, you can't lay claim to it because on nature, people didn't even call themselves Igbo until recently, which is why they still consider themselves to be the real Ibos. Now that they're using that name, they have to say that they are Anambra Igbo. So on nature, don't infect Anambra. That's why people cannot do certain things inside Onitsha or Anambra. They have to know their place. Like you guys have this stratification. You have like an organogram, right? Apart from the fact that you have organogram according to your towns and according to your towns and villages, you now have a caste system on another level. And then you call people haters. How can you have caste system in 2025 or 2026? I'll look for that video, that Zulu video. I saw somebody on YouTube. Let me bring the person up. I'll find you that Zulu video, and you wonder how on earth did they make that connection. But you can't talk about it because once you do, then that means that you are hating. What do you have that people are even hating? Do you not think it sounds strange that you can't even have a conversation without saying, "Oh, they hate me, they hate me"? It's retarded. Motivational business says you people were dominated by the Ibos before the Civil War. Dominated how? How? Wait, guys. Let me just ask. Please, are you ready for what you are starting? Because I think I have some time on my hands. By the time I'm done, you go and ask your mother if you give birth to you, like if your father is your real dad, because you will hear your history. Just let's respect ourselves, I beg. Motivational says, with all your supposed history, Azikiwe represented your region before the Civil War. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? If Yoruba people allowed Azikiwe to represent us, don't you think that actually tells you that you are stupid for saying Yoruba people are hateful? Way back in 1951, Azikiwe won a seat in Lagos, not to be in the federal parliament, to be in Ibadan at the regional parliament, 1951. Zik won. That shows you something about us. You know what? I'm going to have a session on Yoruba Tennis Club. They had the anniversary last week. I think I should do a session on that. And what's the of them? Give me a second. All right. So if you're saying that all right. So if you're saying that Azikiwe represented a part of Western region, it's actually a plus, right? It means that Yoruba people understood what it meant to have cosmopolitanism, which is an idea you would never understand, considering where you're from. Math tuition, yes. I'd like to talk about Yoruba Tennis Club. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how many things we can fit into tomorrow. And Zeke's grouse with Yoruba Tennis Club. Zeke wanted to join everything. He joined Reformed Ogboni Fraternity. Just trying to climb the ladder, however, join this. You see the name Yoruba Tennis Club. He says he wants to join. They said no. He said they are tribalists. It's the same mindset. So you are saying Azikiwe represented your region before the Civil War? Yes, I'm telling you already now. It tells you how Yoruba people think, that you can welcome others to work with them. You will not be able to think like that because you're clannish. 1 second. Bumblebee, please, why don't you get up, please mute. So, what other thing am I responding to on YouTube? You said you had Awolowo and Azikiwe still represented your region. Was your brain... Did somebody do something to you when you were born? Like maybe they removed the brain and put sawdust, because motivational, you have no brains. Awolowo was literally the leader of government business in the house, and Azikiwe was there. It was not, if you have in... I think these people are stupid. Like, who are you? I think I'm wasting my time. No, Azikiwe, Awolowo, you had Awolowo, but Azikiwe represented your region. Are you stupid? The Western region had several provinces. Awolowo was representing one of those provinces, right? Ijebu-Remo. And Azikiwe is Yoruba land. This is not Southeast with like 5 plots. This is a very vast space. So you had someone from Lagos. Zeke was representing a place in Lagos. Awo was representing Ikene, Ijebu-Remo, and Awo became leader of business government. Zeke never did until he went back to the east and did his ethnic jingoism by removing Eyoita. You want to hear your father's story today? Continue, Mababo. Let's have oh, this person has gone down. I think I have some time. I even like this thing you're writing in the comments. Please come up, by the way, if you feel like you want to really talk, so I can listen to you. Maybe you'll be able to make sense. You say you don't know my level of education. It doesn't matter. You may have a degree but have no sense. This idea that people assume that like having degrees like thermometer make you smart. Like from what you wrote now, do you not think that you don't have sense? You are saying you have Awolowo, but you voted Azikiwe. Number one, it means that Zeke wasn't worth it, according to you. Number two, you assume that voting for Azikiwe meant that we did not vote for Awolowo, not knowing that you are not thinking straight. And you are saying you are very condescending. Are you stupid? Please, you can write nonsense in the comment section and then police my tone to tell me what I should be. If you, I'm not being condescending. You are where you are, under my feet. Who is the next person? I beg. Let's close because this person is just getting me. You say here, you claim your people were much more advanced than Ibos, yet Ibos clearly dominated Nigeria. Number one, I did not claim our people were much more advanced than Ibos. In other words, for me to make that claim means that I would have compared Yoruba people with Ibos, and that would be stupid. Okay? To compare Yoruba to Ibos, because when you use the word, you claim your people were much more advanced. To use that phrase means that I have compared us. To compare us would be stupid, and I am not stupid. That's your own purview. You are the one who thrive on comparisons. No, we don't compare here. So, no, I'm not comparing. You are who you are. I'm who I am. Motivational Business says, Awolowo came to watch Azikiwe's speeches. Really? Did you hear that on this platform? Because I said that, I've said that a number of times. And that was in 1934. That was even before Lagos Youth Movement was founded, which became Nigerian Youth Movement, which was eventually destroyed by Zeke himself. So Awolowo went to watch Zeke's speeches, and so does that mean that he did not still steal money later on? This is Ziknor still 877,000 pounds from the eastern region. Is Ziknor, say that Igbos were, superior to every other person? Meanwhile, he told all of us to forget our ethnicities. Did Ziknor plan a coup in 64? Did Ziknor know what happened in 66 before he ran away in October 65? Are you sure you really want to continue on this line of questioning because you're about to hear your how you were born? You guys, I think maybe you are used to people just leaving you because, for instance, today we just listen to something based on the fact that you're from America and you're from Europe and you're from different parts of the world. We just listened and then you came here to throw jabs. Today, I'm not in the mood. Normally, I will just let it go, but today, you will collect. So, mass tuition, yes, we're going to have that Yoruba Tennis Club. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We have to read a couple of books, or at least read. You have to read my Odyssey by Azikiwe, and also there's a document. Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll see how much we can fit in tomorrow. New Era says Aolo and Azikiwe are not in the same league till today. Aolo's plan for Yoruba land still being followed. Where's Azikiwe's plan? Azikiwe, what legacies did Azikiwe leave behind? Azikiwe. Okay, UNN. Give them at least although that place is in disrepair. Motivational speaker. What do you call your name? If what I've said sounds insulting to you is because that's how to respond to riffraffs like you. Okay? What you say? You've triggered? No, you didn't trigger me. Trigger Bao. No, you didn't trigger me. I see you a lot under my, like in the comment sections of my videos. You're always writing like retarded stuff. I'll just leave you and just say, okay, maybe it's going to get better tomorrow. You're going to get wiser tomorrow. But it looks like, no, I've never really responded. But you're always writing nonsense in my videos. Like I see it every time. I just don't talk. But maybe somebody told you that you can come and write it in the live section. There's no word. You can't understand what truth means because where you come from, lies constitute the bedrock of your identity. So you don't know what truth means. I'm looking for those that will pander. So if you're looking for those who will pander to your falsehood and propaganda, don't come here. Don't come here. Just go, with your little club of clowns and have a great time just making yourselves happy. All right, I think we've spent enough time talking to this clown. It's enough. Let's go to the other one. Ululu says that you can't hate. Why do you guys sound exactly like Azikiwe? Why do you sound exactly like Azikiwe? Any small thing, they hate me. They hate me because I'm Igbo. Do you not understand the concept of evolution? You are using Azikiwe's trope from the 1940s. Do you not know that at a point in your life, you're supposed to make yourself better so your children have something better than what you do have? Do you know how irritating you sound? When you guys mentioned that people hate you, have you ever thought about it? What exactly is it about you that's worth hating? You are being stupid, but people cannot speak because if they speak, you say that they hate you. Here's the point. Be stupid because that's your destiny. But do it in your home. Do it on your platforms. Don't do it here. That's all I ask. And that's not too much to ask. Okay? God bless you. And that's for the other clown in the comment section. No, I think it's enough. You guys have had your few minutes of fame. You can go and ask whatever questions you have. Go and ask your parents at home. God bless you. All right. All right. I think I've had enough. I've had enough with this, clowns. Olu, what's your name? I'm going to send you to the naughty corner for 5 minutes because you deserve it. And for motivational, I'm going to send you to the naughty corner for 5 minutes. Yes. All right. So God bless you guys. Raise your hands, close your eyes, kneel down, and wait for me. 5 minutes later, after 5 minutes, you can begin to speak again. It's enough. All right, let's have the sane people. Math tuition, good evening. What I saw that time, they be writing rubbish. I was asking as if I didn't see it. I think they get emboldened, like they can get away with anything.
You didn't see what Empress one day said? So you're not in the mood, Kev, with all these bad books.
I'm just saying it. No, sincerely, I'm not. When I say I'm not in the mood. Like I'm not in the mood for. Like normally, I wouldn't respond.
Yes, now I know. Yeah,
but I just no. It's just too much. Like people can't be this stupid on a daily basis. You just be looking at them, and they assume that they can get away with it because once they say you hate me, why are you hating?
Yeah.
Me too. I'll not be saying that I don't hate you. Hey, sorry. It's not really like that. I don't care what you think. But
absolutely. No. The discussion in the chat underscores this platform. A lot of us don't know our history. Starting from the damage done by the colonialists, and then our fathers keeping quiet about different things, and then link that to the Nigerian political era, where if you put it if you say the mago seed that the British sowed by putting power in the hand of those they clearly know cannot govern, and those that they clearly know that have been compromised. So when all that is put together, you now have the fruits that we now have. Tafawa Balewa had been principled and used the power they gave him much more positively. Knowing that Baba Olo was the foremost light in their generation, and his mentor, Sir Modu Bello, look at what Baba Olo did. And guys, I think it's good for us to go and learn from this guy. Even if we all know that the Ibos did Mago, can they not think? And the NCNC and the NPC that were in coalition together, of course, they've seen all the achievement that Western region did under the leadership of Papa Olowo. But they turned all that energy into negativity, conspiring to take the man down, conspiring from the northern, from Ahmadu Bello's perspective, they will deal with Papa Olowo. And then from the NCNC, all their own energy is to carve out the western region, carve it up. Can you imagine if they've turned all those into positive energy on how to advance the nation, on how to harness their brilliance in that generation to pull it together, to drive that country called Nigeria forward, to ensure all those regions are moving at the speed of light? Can you imagine for a moment where Nigeria would have been? We would never have had a civil war. We would never have had all so-called tensions. All our issues probably would have been reduced greatly because every region is growing. It's an El Dorado. It's making progress. And this is what happens when we now have that energy turned negatively. We now have propaganda on top of it. And we have a section of the country that is still listening to Radio Biafra till today. It had to take Governor Soludo to put his feet down just last week. Then IPOB now said, everybody go back to work. And then they listened to somebody incarcerated for secessionist tendencies and broadcasts. So a platform like this to re-educate all of us is very important, because many of us have never had a like a collage of history. We have a collage of history over decades, over years, from different perspectives, from different authors. Many of it. So when we see this kind of picture or painting in front of us, it creates a whole different perspective. And a lot of us all over the Federation, from the various parts of the country, need to humble themselves and learn so that we can help our generation and the ones coming behind us. Finally, it is true that the egalitarianism of Papa Olowo comes from the Yoruba culture. Kabayo Ronu, Kaderonu Farawa. As we are thinking about advancing ourselves, we are thinking of helping other people too. This was the cornerstone of what Papa did and his cohort. And I'm so pleased that the new president, President Tinubu, is doing exactly the same thing. I'm not sure whether you're aware that they had a second annual NEC conference where he brought together all the statistical governors and parastatals and all of them and articulating the vision for the country and how we can work together, both the federal and state government, so that every area is producing, every area is moving forward. And that's what Nigeria really needs. And since in history, Nigeria has not really had that, where the federal government is leading the charge and domesticating it in the state and local government and encouraging them to move at the speed of light. It's the first time in modern history in Nigeria that I've heard that or seen that. And we need more of that. Leaders who are looking at the bigger picture, larger picture. Because this place called Nigeria is a huge country. It's a massive space. When you combine France and England, they are not as big as England. When you combine Germany and England, they're not as big as Nigeria, space-wise. We have a huge land, huge population, with a lot of potentials that can benefit all of our people. So thank you for taking on this challenge. Like I said last week, you must institutionalize yourself. You are an asset to us. Thank you.
Thank you for that fantastic submission. We're going to get deeper into what happened to Papa tomorrow. That'll be the condition of our topic tomorrow. After discussing the Yoruba tennis, and if we have time, we'll discuss Henry Kingdom. But I think the Yoruba Tennis Club is more important, to be honest. Yeah, we'll never know, right? And I think it's the thing where everybody wants to prove that they have something, even when they know that they lack the ability to even create the most basic things. I was heads and shoulders above them all, and I think working with them would have been good, but humans will be humans. And I think that's why he also advocated for the federal system that would allow people to grow at their own pace. But then Iransi came up later and said everybody has to grow at the same pace, which is what we're still essentially, Nigeria is still suffering from now. But like you said, the beautiful thing also is that we have a President Tinubu who is able to help with the development commissions across all regions, and I hope that will help us. Let me read some things from the comment section, and then I'll play you a video, guys. Niera says, your people are still mass migrating to our Lord's land because of our Lord's great legacy. That is still giving blessings. Actually, that is very true, and I think we have to speak more on that. Majority of the spaces where people live today in Lagos were actually on the majority, whether it's Lekki, all the way to Ekpe on that side, or anything from Mushin all the way to Ikodu on the other side. Okay, people talk about going to Lupeju to work today. They don't know that in Lupeju, the industrial assets you have in Lupeju, that's actually Western region. That's Awo. And that's the funny thing. You benefit from him and then you curse him. You cannot make progress. That's the truth. You hate Awo at your own detriment. There's nothing I've gained from. There's nothing you can tell me that your people have gained from some of the people that you carry on your head. But the ones that actually did something for you, you're always cursing them and comparing them with the lackluster products that you created wherever. Oh, anyway, let's just go on. Ogro says motivational business. You want to be dumb, but when someone points it out, you accuse them of being condescending. It's the way of the gaslighter and narcissist. So he comes here, tells you nonsense, you respond, then tells you you're condescending. I think the goal is to have me explain to him why I am not condescending, but I don't explain myself to fools. All right, let's go on. Your might says, okay. Yeah, Ajayi Crowther gave them somewhat leverage that they have today. Ibos should be forever grateful to the Yorubas who liberated them. You know, I don't like to gloat, but you're right. And in order to buttress your point, I'm going to read something to you from Ajayi Crowther's book. Give me a second. Because we need to be reading these things. We have to be talking about it. Also tells you that we are not all at the same level. Okay, so what that means basically is that we respect ourselves rather than just moving anyhow. This is what Ajayi Crowther said. This book was published in 1866. A child delivered on the banks of the River Niger. Industrious habits have been encouraged. When we arrived at Onitsha in 1857, we found the people in a state of idleness, and with its attendant evils. They were scantily and filthily clothed, and in a state bordering upon starvation, especially between the cessation of the old and the ripeness of the new crops. The old crops were barely sufficient to supply their scanty wants for 9 months of the year. They did not grow more, although the exuberant fertile soil was ready to yield them 100-fold increase in return. The remaining 3 months was a time of dearth and scarcity, when they had to live upon fruit and other edible plants, the spontaneous produce of the fields as might be found in the bushes anywhere. But since the introduction of the cassava plants into the country by Mr. Taylor and other fruit trees, and the people have been taught to raise a second crop of Indian corn by Mr. John Smart, a scripture reader, and how to grow their yams better by the united example of all the mission agents, they have had enough to eat and to spare. The introduction of the cassava plants into the country is universally acknowledged as one of the greatest temporal blessings brought to them by their zealous minister. The trading establishment has contributed greatly to stimulate them to labor in collecting palm oil for sale, for which they are paid in Manchester goods. And now they are getting into the habit of going about more cleanly and decently apparelled. That's in 1866. You see, these things are not supposed to be the basis of gluten. But when people don't know their place, you have to remind them. You forget your place. By the time they got to that place in 1857, by the way, 1857 was just 2 years before the first newspaper was published in Abeokuta. That was 1959. This was happening 2 years before Iwe Iroyin, before it was published. A Yoruba man goes to your homeland, finds the people scantily clothed, feeds them, clothes them, introduces new things with with the people working with him. They introduce cassava, they introduce fruits, plants, they show you better way of, planting yams. They did all those things. You then are fed and you have big stomach. Then you open your mouth and you curse those people. And when they speak, you say they hate you. You are dumb. So what the person said is actually very correct. When he said you have Ajayi Crowther to thank, it's true. I don't want to talk about your clothing and whether it changes. That was 1866. 100 years later, And I'm not joking, by the way. Jack Crowther is writing this book in 1866. 100, not 10, not 50, 100 years later, in the 1960s, Michael Okpara is putting out an edict in Enugu telling people not to come to the market without wearing clothes. You guys have no decency. You can't just talk and just focus on what you're discussing. You just come and throw dirt on Yoruba like you're doing the comment section. So when the person down responds, you're like, oh, why are you bigots? Why are you hating on us? You are dumb. You got to know your place, or else people will remind you, I'm Yoruba or Siregbe. Just have the conversation. If you disagree, it's okay. You can speak on it. You can, I always say it, you can disagree with me. Just make your point and have your sources and be intelligible and show intelligence. That's all. Not come here and throw tantrums, and when people respond, now begin to cry. I want to play you something. By the way, I don't want to explain what I just read from this book because it makes people cry again. Anyway, let's get back to one other video. And this time, it's not about Yoruba or America. It's about the Zulu. Take a listen to this, please. And then you ask yourself, is everything all right at home? 1 second. Okay. What's happening now? Okay. All right.
Malande. He had a two sons. He named one Zulu and named one Kwab.
1 second. I think there's a little issue. I want to resolve it, and then we can all enjoy this. Shall I call it revelation? I don't know. Let's call it revelation. But I don't know if it's revelation of wisdom or the other one. I'll take a listen, please.
Nkosinkulu Malandela. He had a two sons. He named one Zulu and named one Kwabe. So if you ask me now what is the meaning, we should be asking the father that gave birth to them.
But you said Tina Amazulu, we're from Nigeria, and I'm saying to you is, what does Zulu mean? Zulu has a very specific name. What does it mean?
Hello, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes.
I'm saying to you, since you said Tina Amazulu, we're from Nigeria, so what does the word Zulu mean?
We are, because I use Zulu now, if I use Nkulumalo, you might not know what I'm talking about. I use Zulu because it's what we use now, we know now. All right, but your progenitor, the ancestry of Zulu, where Zulu came from at the later stage, the Nkurumaro that was banished in Igbo land for wrong deed. He then went to the Bantu. First place he learned was Bantu tribe of Congo.
What you're saying, but my question to you is, what does Zulu mean? That's what
you can't ask me what it means, because
I can, because you're saying you're saying we're from Nigeria.
You can as well ask me. You can as well ask me, what does Nkosinkulu mean? Or what does I am telling you the meaning of Nkulumal? I have told you the one that related to Igbo is the one that can tell you what it means. Nkulumalo, of which you come that side and corrupted it to Kumaro. That is the linkage. So the Zulu was the child he gave birth at later stage. There were so many kings before the father of Zulu was born. Before Zulu was born. I don't know if you understand.
I don't think you're understanding my question.
But at the very same time, don't try too hard, man. Don't try too hard. You know, sometimes when you try too hard, you become fake sometimes. Because people, when they come and say, no, I've done this, and I came up with this research, you look at the person, you say, is this person for real? Am I talking to human here, or maybe some kind of AI? I don't know. Sometimes, you know, some people are delusional in such a way that they even forget that they are human themselves. It's actually not about facts and not to claim things that we do are factual. When you come up with a discovery, if you are doing research, where is the paper that you actually writing this? Where you can't even tell us about the sources. You can't even reference whatever you are saying. You just come up with these are facts.
Yes.
Why can't you just say, according to this and that?
There was
my paper.
There was
according to this.
Like I told you, the father of Zulu, which is Nkulu Malandela.
It's the same thing you see in South.
Someone was asking what we're playing. That's to show you how international it is. It's the same thing you see in South. You are Igbo. Now they've taken it to South Africa. Everybody must be called Igbo. Luluke says that his parents are morons, and I agree. Then he says that somebody says Igbo had no Eze before colonization. That's your elders now. So if you say that, if you have a problem with the fact that Igbo Eze, that and you insult me based on that, you are literally cursing out your parents and your forebears. Your ancestors said you have no kings. If you have a problem with that, go and meet them. Okay? And it still shows today. The concept of leadership is foreign where you come from. I'm going to, respond to you because you are a retard. All right. I think, okay, we have one more person who wants to speak. We'll have you respond and then we'll begin to. Empress, you want to speak? Because I see your request too. Do you want to come up?
Hello, Prof.
Oh, it's Bumblebee. Oh, Bumblebee. Yes, please go on, Bumblebee.
Good evening, Prof. The video you just played now. You know when Bonner Boy said you go explain tire, no evidence. It's sad. It's sad. Lord the God no try. This is what we have to live with in this country.
The first Zulu man changing whole history saying he come from Igbo na Unkulu Malu. And they come from Baron.
Everywhere. Iwani, what is the Baraku? So I think it's just sad. It's just sad. Well, the British, they had profit in mind. That's why they joined everybody together. Lord Buga did not try. And it's always very sad. That's why I respect the way Asiwaju goes about resolving a lot of internal issues in Nigeria. For someone like you who is a project manager, you understand that when there are issues, the best two people to resolve it are the people involved. And you can't solve a problem or you can't direct the project if you are not involving the stakeholders. So people, when they were going to resolve the Ogoni issue, Tinubu called all the people from different warring sides. They sat down, everybody had their minds and everything, and they were able to resolve it. He didn't just impose a solution. Instead, he resolved it through a long-lasting reconciliation. Going to untangling the whole, unpacking the whole NNPC debacle. When he came on board, he put someone there. When he selected Ojulari, I went to check to management level in Shell, SNEPCO, Shell Production Nigeria Limited. So he's someone who has a reputation, also has the requisite industry experience. And luckily for us, the guy was able to come out last week. I'm saying all this to buttress a point. He came out last week and said, look, the refineries are not going to work the way they are. That's the first NNPC president we have had in ages to come out and tell us the truth. And this is in contrast to some people we will not mention who are intellectually dishonest. They have so much intellectual dishonesty, and they would rather go around peddling lies, pushing propaganda. Look at such leadership at a very, very high level as head of state in Nigeria. They are from a particular place. If you look at the work that Obasanjo did, excellent work. The work that Tinubu is doing, excellent work. So it's very clear. But we Yoruba people, we are strategic, And we are hoping one day we'll be able to find a balance on how to live very well in this country. Just like you said, Yoruba Nation is already here. It is also awake our consciousness on how to structure our community, the Dawn Commission and all, to start implementing those things in parallel to the Nigerian story. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that submission, Bumblebee. I really do appreciate it. I said that you guys yourself. Thank you very much for that submission, Bumblebee. I really do appreciate it. I said that you guys yourself and Matthew Short trying to get us back to the which is beautiful. Thank you. Just going to read a few comments and I will call it a day. What Biojulari said, it actually takes a lot of boldness for you to look at the place and say, you know what, this thing is not going to work. And it's quite interesting that the NLC folks and all those union workers are now saying, oh, what we want to do is the right thing. I'm like, well, you're not the ones who were saying, who got us into this thing in 2007. And of course, there are politicians who have been stealing money, and there are civil servants who have been siphoning, funds. But then it was the same labor union that was telling us that we must not sell those refineries back in 2007. And now you're saying it's okay after 19 years. But it takes a lot of courage, and maybe we're going to also, listen to the news, on that tomorrow. But thank you very much for bringing that up. Just going to read some things here on YouTube. Someone says here, this is your might. It says Nigeria's division is likely not going to happen anytime soon because Tinubu did not create it, but is working to restructure the country gradually. A lot of wisdom is needed to undo the damages. Whether we divide or not, the primary thing is to restructure this country. And it has to be done like ASAP. And it's been done, but maybe his second time would be dedicated to actually doing it well. Do it in such a way that everybody will be fine, right? Not like, I'm not even saying Koroko Sodo Yoruba, like make Yoruba people better. No, let everybody be okay, so that we don't bear the burden of, the burden of underdevelopment that we've been bearing, and so that we also make progress. And we're not just talking about the glorious past, but we're able to, make substantial progress, today. But thank you very much for that submission, and I'm just going to announce tomorrow is Thursday, so we'll be having a full session starting at 4 p.m. if your time was African time. Someone came in yesterday and said we're closing early. We usually close before 7 or later 7 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's about 3 hours. That's a lot. But we stay a bit longer on Mondays and Thursdays. So please, and we're going to talk about some other things like Yoruba Tennis Club and other news. All right. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. To those on YouTube, I don't know, for some reason they moved from TikTok to YouTube today, who have issues with this thing. And let me advise that if you don't understand your history, learn it, right? But don't tell people to make you happy, even when you have nothing like what you have nothing like this stuff in your past. You can't tell us to write it for you in order to make you happy. History does not work like that. It's not quota system. It's not federal character. Grow up. May God bless you. May God bless your ethnicity. And hopefully you can create better history for your children. But if you spend today being a victim, just throwing tantrums and crying all over the place, then surely your grandchildren are going to experience the same victimhood. It will become a generational inheritance. I hope that's not your plan, but whatever you do, may God bless you. Hopefully you do the right thing, Sha. We're going to have the anthems now, and then we'll call it. Any other question on TikTok before we go? Okay, I think we're good. Somebody says everybody does the collect. Okay, I think we're good. Somebody says everybody just the collect. Okay. So we'll see on Thursday, 4 p.m. Before we go, let's have the anthems, the Nigerian anthem, and also the Yoruba anthem. Take a listen, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace all battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without name. Grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation when no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Nigeria may be iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wá fún ilẹ̀-èdè wa. Tàgbéga, tàgbéga, tàgbéga fáyé rí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé láti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́. Ìṣọ̀kan àti òmìnira ni ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ òmìnira bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀.
Empress, I see you. Yeah, thank you very much for being part of today's session, and keep shining the light, right? And let's make Nigeria better. May God bless you, may God keep you, and may He keep His face upon you, may He shine His light on you and give you peace. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. If your time, West African time. Please come early. We'll enjoy the music for a while, and then we'll link up every other platform to TikTok. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Odaro.